It was so scary last year that someone took a in the middle of the scare zone. Just in the middle of the scare zone. Just took a
Good evening from Universal Studios, Florida.
A spooky season has arrived early.
We are talking about everything Halloween Horror Nights today. You clicked on the video, you saw the thumbnail, you know what this is about. Let's head inside. Now I know what you're saying. Ryan, there's only been 2 houses announced and barely anything else for Horror Nights this coming year. Well, there's lots of rumors and speculation, and we're going to talk about all of that. We are going to be making our way around Universal Studios Florida in order of this exact spec map. Do you know what a spec map is? Well, let me tell you. A spec map is a speculation map for people that are hardcore fans of Halloween Horror Nights. This specific one we're using today is made by Horror Night Nightmares. If you are a dire fan of Horror Nights, definitely give them a follow on all of their socials. I'll link it in the description down below. We are first starting over by Minions and making our way all the way around and going to be talking about each one of these. There's already 2 that have been announced though, so those I'm sure you probably already know if you're watching this video.
First up on our speculation map is Carnival of Oddities Horde. I don't know what that means, but I'm excited. You know, I feel like the scare zone that you first come into really can make a difference, you know, because it's what's welcoming you to the park. Last year, it was Horrors of Halloween. It was just kind of a mishmash, you know. You had Pumpkin Lord greeting you, though, with some fart jokes. So that was something. And you had some good stilt walkers. That was last year. Yeah, I don't know. So I guess we're going to be seeing a lot of clowns. I think you can assume clowns from Carnival of Oddities. So that'll be scary. If you are not a fan of clowns, I would recommend entering and taking a hard right. Immediately. Hard right.
My one question is that where on earth is this Pumpkin Lord structure gonna go? Because as of last year, he was right where I'm standing, right here. But unfortunately, as of right now, the giant Minion Land sign is in the spot where he was, or kind of this general area. I'm a little confused. I have no idea what's happening. The very first house on our list was exactly where Hellblock Horror was last year. This was the entryway for it. And this one, the only logo that we have is some trees with some claw marks through it. And that, apparently, what people are speculating is going to be a Bigfoot house, which is honestly so cool. There was a Bigfoot type creature in the last house. I don't know if you remember that, Isabel. Do you remember that?
No.
In the cage, you would like swipe above you. It was like a lion. It was like a lion face. I do not have a good shot of this. I'm sorry. That house was so dark. But honestly, Hellblock Horror was one of our like super underrated houses of last year, and there was always no line. Isabel, what did you think of the house?
I am a Hellblock Horror apologist. Everyone hated that house. I had such a good time. The scare actors were always just vibing. Everyone was having a good time. There was never a long line. It was so much fun. I don't know why everyone was hating on that house. It was fun. I mean, the only part I didn't like was the end and it with the flashing lights, because I get scared with the flashing lights. But other than that, 10 out of 10. And they kept adding new scares throughout the season. It was great.
I am honestly really looking forward to this Bigfoot house if they do it, because it's something that I have not seen at all the years I've been to Horror Nights. And I do want to say real quick, all the footage that we're using was gotten on the media night of Horror Nights last year, which I was fortunate enough to be invited to. We did not illegally film in any of these houses. Like, I'm not just pulling this out of nowhere. I'm not crediting in the corner because it's actually my footage. And I just wanted to say that. I don't know if I'm getting invited this year, but like, I'm so grateful that it happened in the first place. So thanks again, Universal. And we're not breaking any rules. We're not. This is all footage from last year that we're showing now.
Production Central has been home to many different houses over the years, or the entrance to houses over the years. Last year it was home to Spirits of the Coven. I don't know if this is exactly where we're expecting this house to be, but the spec map is suggesting that actually we're going to have an Exorcist House right here, which is interesting because this is not the first time that The Exorcist has been at Universal Studios. It was seen in California in 2016 and 2021, and then it was seen in Orlando in 2016. So I'm curious to see if they would be doing the exact same thing, if they'd be redoing it. There hasn't been any new movies So that'd be interesting. Honestly, the Spirits of the Coven House last year was a huge letdown, but through no fault of their own. It was supposed to be an IP house, but the IP fell through at the last minute, so they had to make a house work with what they had already built, because they start building these houses so early on in the season that this house was already like a third of the way done and the IP fell through. So then they had to suddenly come up with their own IP to make work with what was already built.
The Exorcist House from 2016 was actually one of my first introductions to Halloween Horror Nights in general. I remember watching a Tim Tracker vlog when they were there for media, and I remember being like, oh, that is so cool, and I've wanted to go ever since. Obviously, I've been now that we're local, and seriously, I can't believe that like this is something that's like my thing now. Like, I love Horror Nights so much. Obviously, I'm not the most knowledgeable, but I'm trying my best. We're trying our best here.
Just a reminder that the only two of these that are for sure going to happen are Chucky and The Last of Us, which are two we haven't talked about yet. The rest of these are just complete speculation and are just us having fun because, like, you know, Horror Nights is only 2 months out of the year, but it takes up 80% of our theme park fandom, so we need something to do for the rest of the year. So we're just, you know, we're having some fun today, getting in on the speculation and discussing it because it's a lot of fun. And I really appreciate all the time and effort these people spend on putting together these spec maps because I could never. So
next up on our spec map, we only have an icon, not Jimmy Fallon the icon, obviously, but we have a pentagram and a what?
Castle.
And a castle. We'll see what this one is. Honestly, this is probably the one we have the least information on based off of all the speculation and rumors online, but this is where, what used to be here, Isabel?
Last year was Halloween, which was probably my second favorite house, so it has a lot to live up to. I'm sure Ryan will be inserting so much footage of all my favorite scares of all. I went through this house just over and over again. There was one night of Horror Nights last year that I went alone, and I just went through this house again and again and again because I was scared of going to any of the other houses I wasn't familiar with by myself.
Somebody that actually might know a little bit about the Halloween house from past years. Hold on.
Hello.
Right next to me is my friend Danny, and Danny is a former scare actor here at Universal Studios for Horror Nights. Danny, who did you play that has to do with the house that used to be here?
I did Michael Myers in 2018, Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. I was Icebox Mike.
What does Icebox Mike mean? It sounds like a variation of one of Michael Scott's characters.
I hid in an icebox as Michael Myers. I was basically Dumpster Mike from Halloween 2 back in 2016, version 2.
Okay. Clearly, he is the most knowledgeable out of us three here. But out of all of the positions you've been in at Horror Nights, was that the most fun? Or obviously it's the most iconic, but...
Yeah, I actually did. I had a lot of fun being the man behind the mask with a knife. I actually didn't have a knife, but yes.
You didn't have a knife?
No, I had a baton.
You have a spoon or something?
I had a baton.
You had a baton?
Yeah, it was just a wooden baton.
Okay,
Yeah.
Well.
Fun facts.
Fun facts.
The knives are not real. Shocker.
Right where I'm standing was the entrance point to two houses last year, two of our favorites, Chupacabra and Dead Man's Pier. Now, this year, we're hoping to have something just as exciting. One of them is an IP house that I don't know if it's happening or not. Again, this one's a little hard to believe because I know it takes a while for Netflix IP to actually come through. There's been other ones that have canceled in the past, but Stranger Things Season 4 right now is what's rumored. I think that would be amazing. I still have yet to see Season 4 of Stranger Things. Don't come after me, but I think it'd be super, super cool. Eddie Munson, there was literally half of the people that went to Horror Nights last year was wearing an Eddie Munson shirt, you know, that shirt, and it'd be super cool. I don't know. We'll see if that one happens. The other one is one that I'm probably more excited for, and on this speculation map specifically, what it shows is a dragon. Last year, this was in the place of Dead Man's Pier, or at least what it looks to be on the spec map, and it sounds like it's going to be some amazing original IP. Dead Man's Pier was probably my favorite Halloween Horror Nights house of all time. You want to know why? Because I literally have a Dead Man's Pier inspired tattoo. Have you seen this? I'm not taking my shirt off. Maybe I'll insert a shot later or a picture or something like that. Basically, this is a spooky lighthouse. Dead Man's Pier was my favorite. And hopefully this medieval one's gonna be just as cool. I love medieval times. Hopefully it's
calling it the Medieval Times House.
The what?
I've been calling it the Medieval Times House.
Maybe I want to be on the red team. You could be on the blue team, right? That would be...
Yeah.
Hey, Isabel, what sign are you? I'm Pisces, Gemini, and Capricorn.
Okay.
The scare zone be like, well, funny you ask.
Aquarius?
Just pull bullshit out of your ass.
I can't lie, Danny.
I'm true about the Pisces. I don't know about any of the other stuff.
Can't lie, Danny. Since Danny brought up zodiac signs, this is rumored to be a zodiac scare zone. Last year it was Sweet Revenge, and the year before it was some weird shit with some flashlights. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know what that was about. But this one has a reputation for not being that scary. I'm gonna be honest with you. So I am really, really hoping that changes this year. And the tribute store has moved, so maybe that'll change and that'll be scary. But to be fair, it's very long and it's very narrow, so that might also be working against it. But at Universal Studios Singapore, they had a dark Zodiac scare zone at their Halloween Horror Nights 10. I don't know what year that was. I think that might have been last year. So they might be pulling from that, and from what I saw from that was really cool looking. So I'm hoping that they're pulling from that, because that would be really cool.
We have made our way over to the worst ride in Universal history. I'm sorry, everybody agrees with me. This was the entrance of the Blumhouse house last year, which was a double feature featuring scenes from The Black Phone and what was the other one?
Freaky.
And Freaky, which honestly, I love that. It was like a Freaky Friday thing, but starring, what's his face? Vince Vaughn. There you go. It was fun. I actually really, really liked this house a lot, and it definitely grew on me after the first opening night and stuff like that. This year, what is heavily rumored to be here is one that has already been announced, which is Chucky. That is what we're looking at on the spec map as of right now. Back here at the gift shop for Born Stuntacular, where you could find some other merchandise for Chucky as well. Now, Chucky is a staple at Halloween Horror Nights. They've had a photo op the past at least 2 years. And these are all like kind of TV show Chucky, movie Chucky. It's not anything that's like, this is the house for this year. It doesn't say Horror Nights or anything around there. But they have a few different designs. They have some socks. Some nice socks. Looks like Carrot Top. Nobody knows who that is that watches this vlog. I'm sorry. This is not based off of the original Chucky's, I'm assuming. It's off of the TV show. This TV show that's on USA Network, if you haven't seen it.
Oh, that was on Sci-Fi.
Now it's on Sci-Fi. It was on USA, maybe it's on TNT. I saw it after Monday Night Raw one night. That's how I know.
Keep that in.
I'll keep it in. Basically, this is based off of the TV show. The few episodes that I have seen of the TV show, production value is amazing. If you do want to check it out, definitely check it out before you come to the event itself. This is going to be a good one. I don't know if it's going to be as good as what was here last year, because it was literally like 2 houses packed into one. I don't think it's going to be better, but we'll see. I don't know. I loved Freaky, the Saw scare thing that only worked for the first month and then didn't work, but it's okay. I still got to see it, and I don't know. It's really cool. I'm excited for this. We're gonna head towards the back of the park where we have some more original IP houses. These are probably some of the coolest ones that I've heard of so far.
So this scare zone outside of Fast and the Furious exit is rumored to be Krampus, which is actually interesting because 2 years ago, Krampus was one of the platform characters. And I think Ryan actually has footage of one of the platform characters that he'll show. Last year it was Conjure the Dark. It was some like Norwegian character scary thing. I don't know. It was so scary last year that someone took a in the middle of the scare zone. Just in the middle of the scare zone. Just took a
So the reason we know this is because after we ate at Richter's, we passed through here last year one of the nights, and we literally were walking through and we saw them cleaning this stuff up that was like, it looked like a Baby Ruth bar, a hot Baby Ruth bar that was just sitting there. I don't know if it was like a dog. I don't know if it was a service dog is possible, or I don't know. It wasn't that scary in my opinion, but I would like to make a quick stop here at Diagon Alley. We're obviously not going in there because it's a Saturday in the summer, and we're just not going to do that. On our map, people are supposing that there may or may not be Death Eaters in Diagon Alley like there is over at Islands of Adventure. I don't have footage of this myself, But we'll see. Hopefully, that'd be cool. It would give me a reason to go in there, and if they're selling the ice cream, if I could have my good, what's the ice cream I like?
Apple crumble.
If they have apple crumble ice cream in there, like, I'm gonna want to stop there anyway.
What am I saying?
The show.
Oh, Nightmare Fuel will be making a return, I think. Hopefully. Yeah, I guess that's not guaranteed. I hope so. I like Nightmare Fuel. It's acrobatic. Danny's upset he's not allowed to explain it, but no! Get away from me!
It's sex magic fire. It's sex magic fire, that's all it is, guys. Like, sex magic fire, and then you know what you're in for, period. Drop the mic. I'm not going to drop it. This is expensive.
Although it's not that expensive, if you want to check out this mic as well as all the other gear that we use, you could find that in our Amazon store in our link tree, which is right down below. That was a perfect plug. Thank you so much. We are back here right next to Men in Black. Show them. See, we're next to Men in Black.
So pretty.
The sky is so pretty right now.
Wow.
Okay, so this is where the entrance of the 2 tent houses that exist every single year here at Halloween Horror Nights are, and Isabel is going to go through what is showing up on the map for these.
So there's going to be a carnival, and I'm excited to tell Ryan about this because Ryan doesn't know what I found. One of these is going to be, they're more clowns, by the way. I'm so sorry to all of you who don't like clowns. Oddfellows Carnival. This is supposedly where Descendants of Destruction was last year, I believe. Jack the Clown once worked for Dr. Oddfellow at his Carnival of Thrills. When Jack was introduced as the icon in 2000, Dr. Oddfellow was introduced as his nemesis in the same year, and he has not been seen since, but they might be bringing him back.
If you are unfamiliar with who Jack is,
Oh yeah, sorry.
he's a clown. He's the icon of icons of Halloween Horror Nights.
You don't know Jack.
And you don't know Jack, apparently, according to Danny. Last year, the 2 that were over here were Descendants of Destruction, which was a wonderful house. We did the behind-the-scenes tour. It was amazing for that. And also the Bug House, which was our number 2 or 3 house of the year last year, I believe. Isabel, what is rumored to be going in the other spot? On the map, it's showing a guitar. Now, I did my research. These houses, there was another musician that was back at these tent houses back in 2013, something like that. Alice Cooper. You think Alice Cooper's making a return here?
I don't know who Alice Cooper is. I know who Alice Cooper is. But I don't know.
Well,
I thought it was supposed to be Lady Gaga. That's a big deviation from Lady Gaga.
okay, well, Lady Gaga doesn't play a guitar.
I know, and there's devil horns on the guitar. That doesn't read Lady Gaga to me. That's not Lady Gaga coded.
It could mean, what's that band? Oh crap! What's the band that's like Kickstart My Heart?
Motley Crue?
Oh yeah, I love Motley. I'm the biggest Motley Crue fan in the world.
I was thinking maybe like it's just also another Stranger Things house, because like Eddie Munson.
That could be the Eddie Munson house.
Yeah, just Eddie Munson.
And then there's a stranger. I don't know. Houses that were here last year were amazing. We're only speculating. This is all speculation. Maybe none of this is happening. I have no idea. We're gonna head.
Guitar House. There you go. Devil Guitar House.
Devil Guitar and clowns.
So a couple months ago, there was rumored that Blumhouse was going to have another house this year, and it was going to be a dual house of Meagan and Insidious, which I was really looking forward to because, I mean, Blumhouse just completely knocked it out of the park last year with their house of, Ryan mentioned it earlier, but again, just talking about it again, Freaky and Black Phone was amazing, just like amazing. The scares in that were top notch, and it never got old. And now it's looking like the Blumhouse showing at Halloween Horror Nights this year is going to be a Meagan horde, which is, I guess, just roaming Meagan dolls, kind of like the roaming chainsaws. So that's kind of scary. Their home base is normally here in the Simpsons area, so that'll be really interesting to see. But I would rather be chased by a Meagan doll than a chainsaw, personally, so I also hope that these walls in the Simpsons area are down by then, because that kind of creates major congestion.
Behind me was the old entrance to the 2 houses that are back here. Now, according to this map, the Last of Us entrance might be different, but they literally should not know where the new entrance should be. Like, that's not planned even at this point. But they're doing a lot of construction here, so it makes sense. What was here last year was the Universal Monsters and the Weekend House. These are in parade float buildings. We toured the Universal Monsters one on the behind-the-scenes tour. It was amazing, and the Weekend one was one of our favorites, and it shouldn't have been one of our favorites, but it was. Right now, what is rumored to be here is the Last of Us house. If you don't know what the Last of Us is, I'm sorry, I'd like to know how much you paid for that rock that you live under, but it's a very popular video game franchise. An even more popular TV series starring the Mandalorian guy, what's his name? Pedro?
Pascal.
Pedro Pascal.
It's going to be themed after the video game. You want to know why we know this? Because we earlier today stopped at the gift shop where they're selling The Last of Us House merch. As of a couple weeks ago, they officially announced The Last of Us was one of the houses here at Halloween Horror Nights, and the merchandise is out. They really only have one design ready. They always do this, like every single year when they announce houses, they'll be putting stuff out. They put Chucky out literally October 31st last year, all the shirts for Chucky, because that's when that was announced, which they normally never announce something that early, but here's the cool design. I like it. And one thing to note as well, look at this. This is the video game, not the TV show. This is not Pedro Pascal. I'm sorry. I know some of you wanted to walk the house with him and have him be the person going, boo, but it's not going to be him. I'm sorry. And if you see, they do have one other piece of merchandise up here and also down here. It's probably easier down here. It's a See You in the Fog trucker's hat, and they have a magnet as well, and that's, I guess, the catchphrase for this year.
I have a Facebook post from 2021 that says, "See you in the fog." They took it. They stole it.
Speculation is still going for the other house, which as of right now, people online are saying might very well may be Universal Monsters Paris. This is rumored to be where the Universal Monsters Collide house was last year. Again, we love that house so much. Now this one, obviously they have a French flair to it. I don't know if we were going to have baguettes thrown at us or the monsters will do a sweet little kiss under the Eiffel Tower. Isabel wrote these notes. Right now we are standing in another scare zone. Now this is one of the last ones. We only have 2 scare zones left. This one was one of my favorites of all time. Actually 2 of my favorites of all time from the past 2 years. And I got a ton of footage from it, so let me show you. In past years, this has been mainly like a wooded themed area, obviously because it's one of the only scare zone areas that has trees above where we are. The past 2 years, they had a corn farm, whatever type themed one, and then they also had like a very like mossy woods swamp type theme as well. There was some amazing costumes in that one, in both of them actually. This year, jungle. That's what is at least on this map. I don't know if I believe it or not. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. And we have one more other scare zone too. We're gonna keep it moving. Let's go see the other scare zone in a much brighter setting for some reason.
No, I know it's much brighter than it was, but we filmed this earlier in the day because I'm lazy and I didn't want to walk. So last year, this was Graveyard Deadland Rust, which is my favorite scare zone. Ryan has tons of footage of it. The twins, my favorite scare actors ever. The freezing statue lady, my favorite. The creepy gargoyle guys with the wings, my favorite. So this is rumored to be Vamp 69. So
nice.
Okay. So Universal has done like Vamp like eras before. In 2018, they did Vamp 85 New Year's Eve. So this would not be something totally new. So apparently there's just vampires in a different era. So that's kind of fun.
Sounds to me like it's going to be some groovy vampires, literally like a disco age, like late 60s, early 70s. Like that's going to be so cool. Like imagine like the Dracula theme, but like over a disco beat, like Disco Inferno type whatever. That's so cool.
Apparently there's also going to be a Vamp show. I know 2 years ago there was an Eddie show where he like cut some people up or something. I don't know. I didn't go much 2 years ago because I was a big fat scaredy kid. But I can show you exactly where that stage has been in the past and possibly where it might be this year if that does happen. Normally where they set up a stage is over by Central Park Crepes, over by the Central Park entrance area. So if they do have a stage show, it'll probably be over there, and it'd be really interesting to see a stage show link back to I just got in the mouth a bubble. Link back to a scare zone. One thing I am really interested to see is how having the tribute store in this scare zone will affect the scare zone, because that's something that'll be new this year. I don't know if that traffic is going to affect how the scare zone operates, because I feel like tribute store traffic might affect scare zone operation, because the New York scare zone notoriously has issues for sucking, and I do wonder sometimes if it's because of the tribute store traffic.
As excited as I am for this new scare zone, honestly, I don't think anything can top last year's or even the year before. The year before they had a lights, camera, haction scare zone, which was themed after Jack's brother, Eddie. Sorry, Isabel had to remind me of that. And I made one of my favorite videos I've ever made in this scare zone, and it's right here. Just watch this. We're here at Halloween Horror Nights in the Home Depot scare zone. I've got a project. Oh my God. I got a project I'm trying to work on. Let's see if I can get some help. Can you help me find the plumbing department? Do you see this? Look at that. This is violating so many OSHA regulations. That guy doesn't even work here. I think they're running a promotion on chainsaws. Is that gas or electric? If no one's gonna help me, I'll just go to Lowe's. Well, that was it for our speculation video for Halloween Horror Nights 2023. I know a lot of you watching this are probably new to the Halloween Horror Nights fandom, but I'm sure even more of you are new to our channel. So if you haven't yet, you know what to do. And for those of you who are already subscribed, the best way to help support outside of the comments section is by sharing any one of our videos with some of your friends who love theme parks just as much as you and I do, obviously. But that's it for today. Sorry for the long outro. This is a longer video. Anyway, I'm not going to keep you much longer. Okay, bye.